Hi, it's Karen, the Weekend Craftaholic, and for today's video I just wanted to give you a quick recap of how my September stash busting has gone. It's been 4 very long weeks, I have to say. I don't think I appreciated the enormity of the challenge. It has been a difficult one in terms of time management as well. I've not had an awful lot of time to craft. So needless to say, I'm kind of glad this is the last weekend and it's the end of it. I certainly wasn't about to give up because it was definitely a worthwhile challenge that I set myself. So yesterday's video was all about making little kits, wasn't it, with a Christmas stash. So I've got for you here, this was yesterday's probably 4 hours of crafting. I made lots of little kits. I've put pens in. They're not quite finished because nearer Christmas I want to put some little candy canes and some Christmas chocolates. But I've basically put a whole heap of stuff in these that kids could make themselves. So I've even put some adhesive squares in. I've got lots of die cuts. I've got gift tags. I've got stickers. I've got enamel dots, all that kind of stuff that I've hopefully a child, I'm assuming around about the age of 7, 8, 9, would enjoy. And I've purposely made them very non-genderish as well, so it'd be suitable for boys and girls, so not too girly. So I managed to do all of those yesterday. The other thing I managed to do was make quite a few Christmas cards. So again, this was with scrap paper. This was obviously just scrap paper that I die cut as well. These were with a paper piecing that I'd done. So I just put some Wicked Stella on that and one of these little sentiment strips, and it was a nice, quick and easy card to do. These are the other paper piecing ones that you've seen me do at the craft retreat that I've just now finished off, and just put different ones on those. What else? And then these were also from the craft retreat where I did some practice watercolors. So that was super quick, just adhesive foam on the back just to make that pop out. So made heaps of Christmas cards. I'm keeping them in these little containers just so they don't get damaged in any way. So that I would say is probably the highlight of the crafting month for me, putting those little kits together. The other thing I really found quite therapeutic was getting myself organised, because over time when you accumulate stuff it just mounts up. But I actually used a lot of the scrap paper just to put in the back of these little Avery Elle pockets, and with my stamps, so that was a hot fob but with my stamps and dies, keep my dies at the back and stamps at the front. I also went through with an awful lot of the stamps that I use quite a lot. Went through again with some of the small pieces and just stamped those images ready to go. I did start colouring some of them, really kind of lost my mojo at that point, so I don't have anything to show you for that. The other thing that I really enjoyed doing, which I touched on but hadn't started, was making little swatch books. So this one is of my embossing folders, and probably should have used a bigger piece on reflection, but it's just great to be able to see what I've got on both pattern paper and the deboss image or the recessed image, so you can see just how that looks on these little scrap pieces of paper. I also did a swatch book of my stencils. Now I will own up to the fact that I did not finish my stencils. I didn't realise how many I had. I decided to keep it nice and simple. I just used plain green ink. You can see this was on the scraps. These were the 2x3. And again, I felt I probably should have used a bigger piece of paper so I could see more of the pattern. And I only actually got through my 6x6 stencils, so I've still got a lot of the 12x12s that I need to get through. And at one point I thought I would write on the back the name of the stamp, but then because some of the backs are quite messy and busy, I decided not to worry about that. This was just more of a way of seeing some of the finished design looks on some of these. So I enjoyed actually putting those swatch books together. And one of the great benefits of doing this, I'm just going to show you very quickly. I've created heaps of space now in my drawers. I've got like a full 2 drawers left. You'll see here, these are the 12x12 paper pads that I decided to keep. So not an awful lot of them. I'm going to show you this box as well. This is the box that's going to be going with me on a craft retreat. I'm doing another craft retreat in beginning of December. So I'm going to take this box along for the ladies, see if anybody is interested in any of that. So there's 12x12 sheets, the journaling cards, the die cuts. There's even some albums that I know I'm not going to use. And I've just been really ruthless about not keeping things that I've had. Most of the stuff that's going I have had easily for 5-10 years, so it's a good chance to give it a new home and give them away to someone that will hopefully make use of them. I've also created more space, as you saw in a previous video, on my wall space where I've organised all of my papers now. One thing I am going to do though is not file stuff away in drawers, because if I do that I know that I'll never use them. So I'm going to keep my paper scraps right close to my desk, so at the forefront of my mind, and I'll use them and reach for them before anything else. I did try and find the original video of the little tub that I've made of all the paper scraps, and I wanted you to really see, because I hadn't realised actually how much I got through. So I've probably got through about half of that original paper scraps that I created right back at the beginning of September. And it's not perfect, you know. You could see here when I was swatching some of these are not blending paper. Some of them are very, you know, different quality, different weights paper. So not all of the stenciling is perfect, but it doesn't really matter, you know, if you're using it just as a scratch piece of paper. And you're either you know, you don't necessarily need to use it for the pattern side. You could just use it for the plain side, as I've done. So I'm definitely going to make sure and make use of those. Just grab my journaling cards for you, because I didn't actually get much progress made on these after the video that I did. You can see I made heaps of space, which I'm really pleased about. Not that I intend on buying any more, but just makes it easier to flick through, doesn't it? Having some space now rather than them being all crammed in means I can have a really good look at them. And I've got my order now all organised. This probably took me a good week in September just going through all of these in categories. So at least now if I do need something, it's going to be quicker to find. And if it's quicker to find, it's going to be easier to use. So that is it for me for my September stash busting. I hope you joined us for the hop yesterday. If you didn't, please check it out. There's some very talented ladies that agreed to be a part of my stash bust in September. Some great tips. I've learned quite a lot of things myself looking at some of those videos. Hope you've enjoyed it. Be business as usual as of October. I can't believe how quickly September has flown. And before you know it, Christmas will be here, which is why I'm sure a lot of us are focusing on Christmas crafts now. The next series that I will do will be my 12 days of Christmas. So if you didn't check that out last year, I'll put some links here now for you, which shows you last year's Christmas crafting series. So I'm planning that already, trying to get ahead my 12 days of Christmas for 2020. So have a safe and crafty weekend, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.